Unnecessary video about this image. I made a bunch of guesses and also second guessed myself on previous videos, but what you're looking at, and I will link to it, is the actual original file. Images, when they're copied in digital, can be made to where they're literally clones of each other, meaning every one of them is really the original, but this is the actual original image as archived by archive.org. If you're not aware of it, other archivers like Archive Today will make a copy of it and not leave it the hell alone. It'll convert it, it'll make it into a different file format, etc. So this is as clean an image as you're going to get because this is literally the raw image or as close as possible. And the image is on archive.org using port 80. I've mentioned that in previous videos, but I can't emphasize enough that you should always try using port 80 to get the raw file from the server directly. The web page this came from is from a place called Hobbytown, and it was given other names over the years, but that's the one you should use, and it's not 811 Oregon Street. I repeat, it's not physically at 811 Oregon Street. It's near a corner, so there's lots of addresses. Let's move on. This is the other image in the pair from the web page. I'm not going to show the web page because it's copywritten. Oddly enough, I'm going to do that. You'll have to go ahead and look at the link. I have an archive of it, short and long version of it. This is the environment in the area. Now, I'm going to go back and forth a little bit. This is an air vent with multiple vanes on it, and these apparently, that is probably a fire suppression. And this is a partition that was moved in. One of my guesses, and it's the only guess that might be accurate, is that they were putting in brand new carpet and took a photo of it as a progress report on what they were doing. That apparently is literally what was going on. But I don't know if I was right. That's for other people to figure out. Spacing of the lights, etc. Please pay attention. And lots of random wallpaper or painted walls. They might have been wallpaper as something to cover up the surface because, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. As you can see, there's a bunch of these partitions with holes in them. And yes, immediately after this, someone will make a backrooms level incorporating this and finally giving us level 0 true-to-life versions if we're lucky. And this matches. We have some water damage coming through the ceiling, and we have the lights with approximately the same spacing, and this is the same general area, and there's definitely the same coloring. And no, it's not some sepia effect applied necessarily, although, again, it is possible that this is a camera that had that effect built in. But that's at a later I've already done a discussion about Japan being a potential source. Let's zoom in. We're not enhancing, we're just zooming in. These may or may not be after part of the repair work. You notice there's a power socket each place. This is for doing RC cars in a track, and this is where the people would be to reduce the likelihood of getting hit by radio-controlled cars running around on tracks behind that wall. Okay, now let's go on. Image data. Yes, we now have one with raw ISO, etc. data. So I'm going to quote it. Sorry. 6.1 millimeter focal length. ISO 190 AE. 1/30th of a second exposure time. 2.8 max aperture value and also its F number. Sony CYBERSHOT using a standard called Flash Pics version 100. Little Indian Intel 2 byte order inside of an EXIF version 210 picture. 640 by 480 JPEG at 0.307 megapixel, 63 kbytes, not 64. Original, digitized, modified, and creation time and date stamps, all of those are the same date. This picture was made in the year 2002, June 12th, at 8:21 a.m. and 13 seconds. Now, the reason I'm saying that so assertively about Dsc00161.jpg is because of the file name and the time and date stamp. Unless you're deliberately changing the time and date stamp sometime in the future, a camera or any other electronics that does time and date stamps will reset, if you pull out a memory battery, to a specific year and usually a specific date, usually the date of manufacture or when the BIOS was put out. That's an odd time. The time of day is also odd because usually if you do that for the standard reset function for your camera, you incorporate the version number. For instance, if it was a CYBERSHOT using a BIOS version that was version 12, it would say 12 whatever. This is plenty of room to stick in a version number. That is literally what virtually all of those will mean. The time and date stamp, in most cases, is actually the accurate date for when the BIOS or ROM was burned. Okay? Or even the date of manufacture in some cases. It's a great way to just do that. You tell a person to reset the time to default, it resets the time and you get the version number of the software, and you get the time and date stamp if they read it quickly. Pro tip. DSC and that matches up and is consistent with CYBERSHOTs by SONY. Next. It was used in a web page story, and as of 2003-03-02, that is when the time and dates data was in there. Now, that's not necessarily the time and date stamp of everything. I will do a little bit better work on that. But right now, let's bring up that it's not 811 Oregon Street. It is Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and it's on Oregon Street and 9th and Oregon Street and another street. But the hobby store, Oshkosh RC, procured a building with a blue awning at the time on the front that had a lot of water damage, specifically for doing RC dirt and slot car track racing inside by 2003. Images on Google Street View don't go back that far, and the only images from the project are the two you just saw. They ripped out old display walls, ceilings, carpets, and then cleaned, patched, texture painted, and everything to the walls, added new ceiling tiles and flooring done with some, here are the words, donated wood, donated insulation, donated ceiling material, donated lights, fixtures, donated tile, and donated carpet. My guess at the time was this was new old stock carpet that used to be popular, that they didn't care about what it looked like. They just put it down, and it was a recent carpet install. That's actually confirmed. I got one thing right, maybe? Let's say. It ended up almost as big as their former location at a former Eagles club at a studio hall, they called it, and the floor surface area. They then moved, quote-unquote, to 807 Oregon Street, which is right next door. The new location, and it was as of 2004-04. They updated, and the 9th Avenue parking lot also had an entrance with a red awning on it, and may have really been at 220 West 9th Avenue, and that is two different entrances, one of which only goes to a current location for Hobbytown, which is also what this organization called themselves. And it was also called Revolutions Raceway at the time in the web page URL. So that nails it, that it isn't actually 811 or even possibly it may not be 807 Oregon Street. They updated it as of that date as written out. It was addressed as 811, then 807 Oregon Street, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, but was, again, 65 by 60 feet, and it was upstairs, and it was at a location they called on the page the back room. Okay, now we're going to go to the map. This is the location that's most likely it, and it's the upstairs here. That's it. The location for 811 is over here. This building here also has a similar layout and could have also been. It also has the blocked out windows they talked out on the page. But it was the back area of this. Now, there's a couple of problems with this, but this is still called Hobbytown. If we go, let's go up the street just one notch. Let's see if it can keep from crashing. And this is the 2007 image, and it's just called Hobbytown. That's the location, Hobbytown, USA. And if we want to, we can go around here real quick. Again, we're going to use the oldest imagery we can. Google Street View is a little cantankerous. I'll explain the awning thing. One more notch. There's an awning back there that could have been referred to. This is definitely the parking area. But they could have also been referring to this as an awning at the time. And this is also called Revolutions Raceway as of June 2019. Now we're going to go around the block here really quickly. I'm going to show you the other end of it. The reason for this is to jog anybody's memory of being in this area if you're watching this video. Because the video is going to include Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and the name of the area and the roads. We're now going to be going down. Are you done? 8th Street. So inside of that block is essentially a street, I guess. And this is the other back area, or literally the back room area. The thing is, this is ostensibly only one floor. Obviously it isn't. And they were talking about the upstairs area being 65 feet by some other dimension. Now now remember this back area, and remember that all of the windows were sealed up and or blocked off, and it had no windows. Versus the upstairs area where you can see some windows, just not here. Okay, now we're going to go back to the overhead map. Let's see if it loads correctly. And forgive me for using this, God, in live mode here. Let's wait until it loads. Come on, you can do it. Hey, there's a place called South Park. Anyway, let's click this. Just think it's funny. Okay, let's move in. Yes, computer, you can move on eventually. Okay, thanks. That really didn't help a damn thing. Zooming in, waiting. Now, from the above view, they list it differently than it actually is. It's listed as a highway location, knowing 9th or 8th and 10th Avenue. Okay, I'm just waiting for it to finish hiccuping. Okay, now the description of its surface area by Hobbytown was it was the back room area of the location, and again, they listed a different address over here. And let's go ahead and measure distance. 65 feet by something, and boom, 62 feet, and if we grab this one, it's 61 feet. 60 by 65 feet or so. So it's this area back here, right? Or it could be just the upstairs of this. Well, this is a short, squat building, but it is definitively 2 floors deep. Okay? So that's where that came from. It's almost exactly this. And this is also labeled 221, and you can see the side entrances at the ground level. Now, one thing I'm going to do is do this. Waiting. There is a walk-in to look at Fabulous Finds. I'm going to click Fabulous Finds and look at the ceiling. So all the buildings in the area have exactly the same backrooms feel to it. What the fuck? Okay, I really didn't see that before. What the fuck's going on? Oh, gosh. Anyway, this is the backrooms area. It's when you hover over it, hovers in on the candles, and it looks like they're CO2 tanks or something. So yeah, there's your authentic ceiling from the old days. They didn't change them out, and you can walk into Fabulous Finds and see up close images. And again, you can't walk into here, and I can't find any of their previous images on the net. And yes, there is a trick I list below in the description for you to find all images that were archived. There aren't any. So we only have 2 images, and it's this upstairs area that's completely sealed off, and that's about it. It's only 65 feet by 60 feet or so they quoted at the time. And yeah, there's maybe a window. So you're in a windowless second floor building right up there, and it's ostensibly, 801 or whatever, but it's not. It's on each of these sides here, and that's it. And it's literally just that entrance there. So that's literally the location for the original backrooms level 0. And again, you can just go into Fabulous Finds and trip out on their wall. Good God, I didn't notice the wallpaper. Okay, and the ceiling tiles. And okay, well, that's enough of that stuff. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. All the links and data in the description. And yes, they literally refer to it on the page as the upstairs backrooms. Bye.